notwithstanding a backup quarterback, that's where your depth has to come in, particularly in special teams play. A lot of teams, as you well know, will keep just 2 quarterbacks for that reason. So to keep 4, it's hard to imagine them doing that long term.
Yeah, no, I don't see it. I don't see it working, especially with the way that Christian Hackenberg is playing. What do they do then? Who do they cut?
Well, that's a tough one. I'm sure to a degree, and that's what's going on right now in terms of before you clear your developmental squads, is there anybody that's willing to throw you something, maybe even a late pick, to pick up one of these quarterbacks so that they don't have to go through the waiver procedure? And the team that's down the waiver procedure that has a quarterback need may throw you something. It's not going to be huge, but very typically they don't do it because they realize you're going to have to put them on waivers initially to get them through there to get to the developmental squad. So it's unlikely that you're going to get a whole lot. So that's why teams will actually they might keep 4 guys on the roster, quarterbacks, through the first week. And that gives them a little more latitude then to maybe get them moved for some value later on.
Yeah, that makes sense. Talking to Brian Billick here, NFL Network analyst and former head coach of the Baltimore Ravens. Another quarterback issue that I'm finding interesting is the defending Super Bowl champion Denver Broncos. Obviously, they're going to start Trevor Siemian to start the season, but the backup is a rookie in Paxton Lynch. And it seems like, because he didn't play at all in the last preseason game, Mark Sanchez is the odd man out. Is that dangerous for Denver?
It depends on the caliber of your quarterback, where you are as a team. Obviously, sitting with a Super Bowl ring in your back pocket, they're going to feel good about whatever they do because they have some latitude. And again, would you like to have a veteran presence with 2 young quarterbacks on the roster? Sure. But you're also talking about a team that has Gary Kubiak and John Elway as its head coach and general manager. So they're going to provide, just because of their experiences as quarterbacks in this league, they're going to add another perspective that maybe you don't have to carry a veteran like Mark Sanchez. You're going to get by with young players like Siemian and Paxton Lynch. I think Trevor Siemian is a placeholder for Paxton Lynch.
Yeah.
Since 2005, not including this year, there's only been 4 quarterbacks that didn't play at all in their rookie seasons. Now, Aaron Rodgers is one of them, and everybody uses that as the poster child to say, see, you ought to sit a quarterback. But the other 3, Jason Campbell, you talk Brady Quinn, and Locker, not real strong arguments for saying, well, see, you sit a quarterback and it's better for them. I think Paxton Lynch is going to find his way in the lineup pretty soon.
Yeah, I think so as well, because he's looked really good in the preseason, especially all the transitions that he's got to make to the different system in the National Football League. One more football question, or at least on-field question, before I start digging into your expertise as a coach and a mentor and a leader of young men in locker rooms. And obviously we're talking about the Colin Kaepernick situation. What do you do in Dallas if Dak Prescott turns out to be a baller and is just awesome in the first 4 or 5 weeks that he has to play?
That's a good problem to have. Obviously, Tony Romo, it's a little problematic going forward in terms of exactly what his future is going to be. You want it to be good. You want it to think that this is going to be our guy. But by the same token, the history is what it is, and you've got to respect that. And so, that would be a good problem to have. The problem is for Dak Prescott, and he may very well be. I hear a lot of people saying, well, he could be Russell Wilson type and do what he did in his rookie year. Well, Russell Wilson had the number 1 rated defense, and he could turn around and hand the ball off to Marshawn Lynch. Now, Zeke Elliott could be a pretty good running back. They've got a good offensive line, but that defense is not what the Seattle Seahawks were when Russell Wilson was a rookie. So the hard thing for Dak Prescott is that he's going to have to be good quicker. I don't know that they can win a lot of games with him on a 20-25 pitch count, less than 450 throws on the season. I don't think they're going to be good enough defensively, and I'm not sure they can run the ball well enough. So he's going to have to be better quicker than, say, a Russell Wilson was in his rookie year.
Yeah, no, that's a lot of pressure. I mean, a lot of people, and I would even point to this. Well, look what Ben Roethlisberger did. But, again, it was a similar situation as Russell Wilson. They had a really good defense in Pittsburgh at that time. We're talking to Brian Billick, NFL Network analyst and former Ravens head coach. Now, put your coaching hat on how you would handle the situation that Chip Kelly is facing out in San Francisco. And also Pete Carroll had the issue because of Jeremy Lane sitting down in the national anthem. What do you say to your team and the players if an issue like this comes up? How do you address it to make it more focused on football than the issue.
Exactly right, and that's where you've got to go to. This is a tough one, because on the one hand, you obviously have to respect the individual attitudes, and the players have rights, and if they want to use their celebrity to champion a particular cause or idea, you have to embrace that. You have to support that. But by the same token, he's got to sit down with Colin Kaepernick and saying, look, but in doing so, you've got to respect the team process. You've kind of usurped the rights of the team by doing this arbitrarily on your own. You didn't consult with us. You didn't consult with the other team members. You have an avenue, and we will support you in that, to put out there whatever you want. But as a team, we've collectively decided, as a league, as a team, as an organization, and your teammates, to honor America, honor our flag, honor everything that has to do with the national anthem. You have to respect that responsibility, and we'll find another avenue, and we'll support you 100% in expressing whatever views you want to. I don't fault Colin Kaepernick for having strong views, but I fault him for the avenue that he chose to do it, because he basically did not live up to his responsibility as a team member, and that's what I would try to communicate to him.
Yeah, no, it's interesting, Brian, because I mean, you've been around the game for a long time. If you go back, and you're not back there, but if you go back to like the late 50s and the 60s and some of the social activism that was happening with athletes, you could understand it. And it was, I don't want to say it was forgiven. Obviously, the media attention wasn't the same, but it felt like there was a period, whether it was through the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s, where people just kind of wanted athletes to shut up and be athletes. Go do it on Sunday, and that's really all I care about. But now we're in a situation where media, both traditional and social, has given athletes this platform. And isn't it their responsibility to, if they feel really strongly, isn't it their responsibility to use it?
Sure, absolutely. But you've got to use it in the right forum. And I would advocate that you're losing the message a little bit. Because there are those that are saying, well, we wouldn't be talking about it if he weren't doing it in this manner. I would disagree with that respectfully, because we're not talking about the issue. We're talking about, should he do it or not? Is this the right forum for it or not? And obviously a lot of people are very passionate on either way. We're not talking about the issue that he supposedly wants us to be talking about. We're talking about the process. And I think it's bringing on a negative connotation to it that is an unintended consequence. I don't think he is helping his cause, his purpose, by doing it the way he's doing it. Ultimately, I think he will hurt it.
Yeah, does it feel better that he took a knee with his teammates as opposed to sitting on the bench behind the water coolers?
Yeah, we're couching it now, in terms of degrees.
Yeah.
So I understand that, and I don't know how this is going to play out, during the entire season, and obviously people will wear out on it. That's not to put our head in the sand and say we're ignoring the issue or we don't want to talk about the issue. There's a time to do that, and I don't think this is a particular time when you see other athletes, for instance, the 4 basketball players, that it's the ESPYs that chose to stand up and make a statement. That's great. That's fabulous. That's a perfect forum for that to do that. And even from a team forum, if you remember back when the Clippers, when they were going through the ownership issues and their concerns about the racist comments of their owner and all that, they collectively as a team decided to make a statement. And that's okay, because that was collective. They had talked amongst themselves, and they weren't violating their other teammates' perspective. That's the concern I have for Colin Kaepernick, is he's not taking into account the other perspectives of his teammates, and there might be a better way to do this.
Yeah, I think it changes, too, if he can play. You think he can still play?
Yeah, I do. The problem with Colin Kaepernick is his abilities have regressed, because he needs to be put in the pocket and throw 600 throws. That may not win, but that's going to progress him along. There's actually been a digression from what we saw early in his career. And right now, and I don't mean to tie the two together, but again, players don't live in a vacuum. They work within their own circumstances. There's a lot going on for him right now.
Yeah.
And so with the path that he's on and some of the struggles he's had as a quarterback, you've got to wonder where his priorities are, where his thought process is, rightfully or wrongfully in terms of his focus. There's a lot to distract him from a job at hand to see, can he play quarterback in the National Football League?
Yeah, I agree with you. Brian Billick here again, NFL Network analyst. xtechpads.com. I remember when you guys started this a couple of years ago. How's the progress going with this, and are you getting into all the markets, high school both college and also not both, but three of them in the pro market as well. How's it going with
Pads are
X-Tex?
going very, very well. This is the next generation of pads. It really is. We're in 27 NFL locker rooms and over 200 college locker rooms. There's a number of them that are on a path to be exclusively X-Tech pads. This is the next wave technology in shoulder pads. It's what our young people should have on with the XRD technology and the underpinning and the foaming. It's 100% American-made. All I can say is I've got two grandsons, and when they get to football playing age, should they decide to play football, they're going to be in X-Tech pads.
Yeah, I like it. I'm gonna use this discount too that I'm seeing offered. Promo code COACH